Andy Pages has turned the Pages. He has absolutely solidified himself to this point as someone that deserves to be on this team, playing in the outfield, whether it be in center field, whether it be in one of the corners, where there is this myth out there about Andy Pages that he's this bad defender. And hey, go tell that to Roki Sasaki, who owes Pages a couple really expensive bottles of sake after all the home run saving catches he's made for him during his starts this season. And yes, he's made some tough reads at times. He hasn't been perfect. Not going to second in the game against the Cubs when you're trying to hit the cutoff man. That run ultimately scores. He goes to third. Yeah, those are young player mistakes that he's made. You got to hit the cutoff man. You got to make sure you're making the right plays in those situations. But all in all, he's grading out as an above average defender. He is 1 ounce above average, 80th percentile in range, 82nd percentile in arm value, 96 percentile in arm strength. He's also an above average runner. A lot of tools for Mr. Andy Pages. And it was announced just now that he won National League Player of the Week. National League Player of the Week for Andy Pages. Hotter than the devil's armpit for the Dodgers this week. Heading into this week, Andy Pages was struggling. Heading into this week, it looked like Andy Pages was not going to be a part of this team after the All-Star break, right? That was kind of the Andy Pages take. Everyone was regurgitating. Bring up Ha-Seong Kim. Trade for Luis Robert Jr., right? Let's not give Andy Pages the 150 plate appearances that they had said was the measuring stick for him. Heading into this week, Andy Pages had a 544 OPS. He had 10 hits, 3 extra base hits this week. I mean, heading into this week, a 544 OPS, 10 hits, he had 3 extra base hits, and 5 RBIs all season. 10 hits all season, 544 OPS heading into this week. This week alone, Andy Pages, 13 hits, 3 home runs, 3 doubles. He had 6 RBIs in 5 games this week. He increased that OPS from 544 to 861 in 5 games. So this is a reminder that not only do you have to kind of not rush to judgment for young players, but when you're this early in the season, if you're struggling and you have a really good week, you can double your stats, it almost feels like. You can really, really have a big impact on your numbers if you do have a really, really big week. And now he's up to a 143 weighted runs created plus. So he's been 43% above league average offensively. His WRC plus is higher than Tommy Edmonds and Mookie Betts's so far this season. This week against Pittsburgh, he had 10 hits against Pittsburgh, 6 extra base hits. He was incredible. He was absolutely incredible. And there was a story that Andy Pages recently sat down with Dodgers president of baseball operations, Andrew Friedman, and Dodgers manager Dave Roberts. And they both told him, relax, just relax. Go out there and play. Go out there and play. And all things have turned around for him. He's absolutely starting to click at the plate. You see, this is a guy that should be able to help this team. He can hit for power. He's got on the season in 93 plate appearances, 5 home runs. Ha-Seong Kim might not hit 5 home runs for an entire season. Yes, Ha-Seong Kim was like the backup quarterback that you want to see, but just speaking to scouts, like there's no comparison to what Andy Pages has the potential to do at the plate for Ha-Seong Kim. Like they're not even like comparable to what their potential could be. So that's why you have to trust the process with young players. You got to allow them a chance to grow. And I think what really impresses me about this run for Andy Pages this season is last year when he got called up, he was on fire. He got off to a hot start. And then he cooled off. Then he started to slump. Then he was gone, and then he was back after the September call-ups. This time I'm impressed because he started slow, started cold, and then made adjustments, started to relax, started to be more aggressive, and now he's the hitter that he is. Dave Roberts talked about this all the time. Just be who you are, right? You don't have to go out there and try to take long at bats and see as many pitches as you can take just to prove that you're this better hitter that can work 3-2 counts and draw your walks. No, you don't need that from Andy Pages. Go out there, look for a pitch in a zone. When you see it, drive it, and that's what he's been doing. And that's why you're seeing him not just go out there and slug, but he's also hitting singles. He's impacting the game defensively. And I think it's a great story, man. Andy Pages is here to stay. And that doesn't mean that you don't have to consider a trade to shore up center field. And Luis Robert Jr. has had a bad season so far. So not necessarily saying that has to be the case. But I think at this point with his bat, you're basically locking him to left field. And then center field, you can see if he improves there. But hey, I'm all in on Andy Pages because look, all these guys that we talk about that are struggling, right? It's everyone loves doing that, right? Here, this is the Dodgers kind of like social media cycle. Player struggles. Everyone posts his stats. This is what he's hit in the last 50 at bats. 3 for his last 50. No home runs, this and that. Then players back. And then it starts all over again. That is just baseball. You're going to go through your slumps. But I think with Andy Pages, the big difference is he's making $700,000 this year. He is not getting 15 to 17 to 20, 30, 40. He's not getting Conforto's 17 million. So to get this production from a player like this, it's what this Dodgers team has to do because you haven't seen a lot of homegrown position players developed and have had success. And James Albin is actually going off down in AAA. You love to see that. Alex Freeland's having a great year. But you need to see more homegrown talent unless you want to see this team fall off a cliff like the 2016 Chicago Cubs, right? You need homegrown guys. It only helps you. And sometimes in these situations, you go through the slumps with Pages just so he can produce like he is now. And that way, either you have a guy that's going to be a player for you or you have a guy that you can trade, right? So you have to develop. The D in Dodgers has always stood for developed. Well, now it stands for deferred. But, I mean, that's kind of what we're at with Andy Pages. So I love seeing that.